Stop chasing people and start chasing the version of yourself that doesn't need them. There are specific personality traits that, once mastered, act like a filter for your life. They don't just make you high value, they make you untouchable. When you hold these 11 traits, you stop attracting drama and start attracting maturity, emotional stability, and the kind of respect that doesn't need to be requested. You aren't just living, you're standing on business. Your life is a reflection of what you tolerate and how you carry yourself. If you're tired of the crash out energy and the constant drama, it's time to talk about the high value blueprint. These aren't just vibes, they are the standards that attract mature energy and protect your peace at all costs. If you're ready to stop performing for the world and start living for yourself, this episode is for you. Here are 11 traits of a high value woman that change everything. Number 1. Emotional self-regulation. A high-value woman isn't a puppet to her environment. If a colleague snaps at her or a stranger is rude, she doesn't match their frequency. Emotional self-regulation isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about filtering them. A high-value woman understands that her reaction is her greatest power. When someone tries to pull her out of character by being rude or aggressive, she does not take the bait. She stays composed and responds thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. She knows that the person who loses their temper is the person who loses the argument. She doesn't start crying or shouting, she responds with a calm no and keeps it moving. Number 2. Secure attachment and absolute abundance. She operates from the belief that she is a rare prize, not in an arrogant way, but in a factual way. This shifts her perspective on loyalty. She operates from a place of I am enough. Her world doesn't end if a relationship does. If she feels her partner pulling away, she doesn't turn into a private investigator checking phones or stalking social media. She knows that if he isn't man enough to appreciate her value, he's simply clearing the path for someone who will. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She realizes that if a man cannot maintain the standard required to be in her life, it is his loss of an asset, not her loss of a person. She walks away because she knows her value isn't up for negotiation. She doesn't beg, chase, or spiral. She simply upgrades her environment. She views it as a him problem, not a her problem. Number 3. Radical clarity. She treats her words like currency. She doesn't waste them. She doesn't devalue them. When someone asks for a second date and she doesn't want, she doesn't ghost them or lead them on with maybe. She says, I appreciate the offer, but I didn't feel the connection I'm looking for. Clear is kind. High-value women don't play guessing games. They don't drop hints and get mad when people don't catch them. They use their words like a surgeon uses a scalpel. When a man proposes or asks for her hand and she isn't interested, she doesn't keep him as a backup for attention. She says, I respect your courage in asking, but I don't see a future here. And I want to be honest so we both can move forward. She protects her time and his dignity by being ruthlessly clear. Number 4. Self-validation. Well, she doesn't outsource her self-esteem to the internet while the world is addicted to likes. She is addicted to her own self-respect. She isn't a pick-me who changes her opinions to suit men. She doesn't post proactive photos just to see how many fire emojis she can get from strangers. She is satisfied with the attention of her man and, more importantly, the attention of herself. She understands that private doesn't mean secret, it means sacred. She's not posting thirst traps just to feel something. She doesn't need 100 dudes in her DMs to tell her she's the one. She doesn't change her personality to be one of the boys or trash other women to look better. She has her man, she has her peace, and she doesn't need a viral post to feel seen. She is her own biggest fan, and everyone else's opinions is just background noise. Now, this does not mean if somebody is posting on social media it is for male attention. Maybe it is for them. This is what makes them happy. Number 5. Not giving a fuck. She has a backbone made of steel. She isn't a people pleaser. If her social circle is gossiping about something she knows is wrong, she will speak up. She doesn't fear the backlash of the crowd because she values her integrity more than her popularity. She has a North Star of values that she will not compromise for a friend or a trend. She would rather stand alone in the truth than fit in with a lie. If she sees something wrong, she speaks. She doesn't calculate the social consequences or wonder if she'll be cancelled by her social circle. Her yes means something because she isn't afraid to say no. She says what is right and stands her ground even if it's unpopular. She isn't calculating the social consequences or worrying about a backlash. She is standing on business. Number 6. Healthy social circle. She can walk into a room of icons and not lose her own shape. She has friends, but she doesn't have idols. When a new it girl joins the group with a flashy style or a new hobby, she doesn't suddenly change her wardrobe or personality to fit in. She celebrates others without feeling the need to copy them. She is a limited edition, not a carbon copy. She can admire a friend's talent or a stranger's style without wanting to steal it. She is inspired, never intimidated. In a world of copy-paste personalities, she remains an original. She doesn't start mimicking others' slang or dressing like them. She has boundaries. She knows where she ends and others begin. She is a sun. She provides her own light rather than reflecting the glow of others. She isn't morphing into whatever is trending on TikTok. She stays true to her own frequency. She has firm boundaries. Number 7. Growth mindset. She views herself as a work in progress but never a mess. She knows that a woman who stops learning stops leading. She views her life as a series of upgrades. She refuses to be the same person she was 12 months ago. Think of two women from the same background. One stays in her comfort zone, fearing change, and eventually becomes dependent on others because she stopped growing. She waited for life to happen to her, becoming a passenger in her own marriage. And the other, the high-value woman, takes the risk. She learns the skill, moves to the city, and builds her own security. She wants the family and children too, but she ensures her children are raised by a woman who has dreams of her own. So they learn how to have dreams too. She builds her own empire, whether that's a degree, a business, or a craft, ensuring that if the world around her changes, she has the tools to build a new one from scratch. She is in a constant level up era. Number 8. Strong boundaries and strategic PR. She is friendly to everyone, but intimate with almost no one. She knows that her energy is a limited resource. She has a public image that is warm and professional, but her inner circle is a fortress. Having a small circle isn't about being lonely, it's about being selective. She has professional relations and PR skills, meaning she can navigate a room of 500 people with grace, but only 3 people have her heart. She keeps her private life out of the mouths of people who don't deserve to know it. Access to her as a privilege, not a right. She remains a professional public image while keeping her inner sanctum sacred. She can be the life of the party and have 1,000 professional contacts, but only 3 people know her deepest fears. She knows how to be friendly without being available to everyone's drama. She knows how to network like a pro without letting everyone and their mom know her business. Number 9. Calm nervous system. She moves with the grace of someone who isn't in a rush. She is never loud to prove a point. Watch how she treats a waiter versus how she treats a CEO. She gives respect to both, but bows to neither. Her strength is felt in her silence and her steady voice, making it impossible for people to walk over her. She is the calm in the middle of storm. She doesn't have to be loud to be heard. In fact, the quieter she is, the more people lean in to listen. She doesn't have status anxiety. If someone is rude, she doesn't get trashy or crazy in return. She keeps her voice steady and her gaze firm. She isn't too nice to be used, but she isn't too mean to be feared. She is simply balanced. Number 10. Independent identity. Her identity is sovereign. She is not ex-girlfriend or vice employee. She is a whole world within herself with her own financial ecosystem. She doesn't rely on anyone for her status or her bank account. She doesn't market other people's skills as her own. If everything were taken away tomorrow, she has a mindset to build it all back. She is a partner in her relationships, not a dependent. She is not relying on a man's credit card or a friend's clout to feel important. She has her own hobbies, her own skills, and her own vision. She is a whole person on her own. So when she is entering a relationship, she is adding value, not looking for half to complete her. She has her own financial ecosystem and her own intellectual property. She doesn't borrow other people's stories or successes to make herself look bigger. Number 11. The power of stealth. She is the queen of the low-key flex. She doesn't announce the move until the house is bought. She understands that privacy is power. She doesn't over-explain her life to people who don't have a seat at her table. If she takes a mental health day or switches career paths, she doesn't owe anyone a PowerPoint presentation on why. Her life is a movie and you only see the highlights she chooses to show. She understands that evil eye is real. She knows that premature celebration kills motivation. While others are posting about big planes and university applications, she is already halfway through her first semester. If she leaves a job or moves abroad, she doesn't owe the curious people a 10-paragraph explanation. Her choices are for her. She lets her results do the shouting while she builds in the dark and lets the results turn on the lights. She doesn't announce the move before she makes it. She applies for that international job or buys that property without a single coming soon post. She doesn't owe the world an explanation for her pivots. While others are talking about what they will do, she is already living it. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to say something very clearly. If you don't hit all 11 of these traits right now, you are not a low value person. Absolutely not. None of us wake up as the fully formed final boss of our lives. Maybe right now you have the quiet success done, but you still struggle with zero crash out energy. Maybe you're great at standing on business, but your nervous system is still learning how to be calm. That doesn't mean you have failed. It just means you are a work in progress, and being a work in progress is a beautiful and powerful place to be. Becoming a high value woman isn't about being perfect, it's about direction. It's about making a conscious choice today to stop pouring your energy into a glass that has a hole in the bottom. Stop wasting your time, your tears, and precious attention on people who treat your presence like a discount item. Stop giving premium access to low effort situationships, toxic friend groups, or internet drama that doesn't add a single thing to your peace or your bank account. You have the blueprint now. Take a deep breath, pick one trait to work on this week, and remember, you are the architect of your own world. Protect your peace and stand on your business. And I'll see you in the next episode. Stay elevated.